Up in the attic again, we have continued working. So this whole side is now completely insulated underneath. Late last night, finishing up like this section here. You had previously seen us working a lot in here, and now we've got it extended to, you can see right there. And then now we are working on this whole area and then wrapping around this second chimney eventually to get that section. So we're a little bit more than halfway done, but there's still a lot left to do and a lot of stuff on this table to sort through. It's funny that the section that looks the best is the section that hasn't had any work done on it. It's actually the worst, but it looks so pretty. So to you, this might just look like another attic shot, but to me, this angle right here is blowing my mind because this is the most I've ever been able to see through my attic. So for a reminder, this is what it looked like when we purchased the place. Every single square inch was covered with antiques, even the sections with missing floorboards. And now I can take a shot like this that encompasses multiple sections of the attic at once and be able to see straight through. And that is just so amazing for me.
How much dust is being raised. Vacuuming might be the way to go.
Everything all vacuumed and swept up, and we're basically ready to tear up some of the floorboards, but this pool table presents an interesting dilemma in that it was very homemade and it is a slab of concrete under there, like a very homemade, poured on the site slab of concrete. So this table is not going anywhere anytime soon. So you can see Phil is under there, and we're just gonna try and lift. We're gonna try and lift a couple of the floorboards. See if there's any blown in. Yes, there is. All right, there's an okay amount in there. Well, about half. All right, better than none. So we can probably get off this floorboard as well. You want to do both of them, and then we'll have good access.
If you want.
Well, because otherwise, if we don't open up, like, it's going to be like 4 more floorboards before we can open up that one.
Sure, we can open this one here.
So, yeah. That's the story of the pool table. Probably was a really cool, you know, guys hangout up here at one point in time. It's going to be interesting to see it once it's all liberated from all of this stuff. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what this stuff is, but then I'm also looking forward to just seeing the pool table underneath. I've only gotten these tiny little glimpses of it so far. Tiny little bit of felt left. Itty bitty little felts.
Is there felt?
Well, there's a little bit of green. Also, imagine playing pool and then falling down the stairs. No, there probably was a door over it. That's probably what this framing is for. Probably for that door right there, actually. Found that under all the stuff, so that probably covers so that you could play pool without endangering your life. Also, there's a pretty cool light fixture up there. We can look at that closer later at some other date, but it is a counterweight sort of system. And it's pretty darn neat. Okay, folks, I have a very fun update for you, especially for those of you who watched my second channel video where I talked about this pretty specific problem that I was having up in my bedroom. So there were a lot of great suggestions and advice in the comment section for that video, because I did ask specifically for input, ideas, all that sort of thing. And there were some really good ones. I'll throw some of the best ones up here on screen. And I've been keeping my eye out both on Facebook Marketplace as well as in the thrift stores for a few of these ideas. I did really love the ladder idea. That was great. That really appealed to me. Silent butlers, really hard to find in the Facebook Marketplace selection around here, but I'm very happy to announce that I found a couple amazing options, at least in my opinion anyways. So the first off, well, they're both very similar. The first one is this. I think I've seen them called country shelves. I'm not exactly sure why, but basically it's a shelf that is also gonna act as, have some hooks down here. So I do need to put another board back here and then have some hooks on it. This is option A. I think it's a good option. Option B, very similar, but much larger. You can see this one's significantly larger. Let's see if I can hold them up side by side. So here are the two options, and I kind of like that this one has a fun little heart. Now they will both need a piece of wood back here, which I will then attach hooks onto, and then I can hang all of my clothes from the hooks. And actually I had a further thought, which is that one of these could become a shelf on the wall, and then whichever one I don't use, I could turn into a very small bench to go against the wall, because they're both perfect. I have a very small space to work with. I have been told by multiple people that my camera makes things look much bigger than they are in reality. So it might look like I have space for like a proper chair or a stool or a deep bench, but I don't. I really have like 6 inches of depth, kind of, especially because I need to be careful of the door closing and not hitting this as the door opens. So those are my options, and I am going to be painting them in an upcoming video. I have so many ideas, so much fun inspiration. I've been collecting, mood boarding all of my ideas, and I'm like, I have so many ideas that I'm overwhelmed. I don't know which one to choose, but either way, I'm looking very much forward to it. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. So keep your eye out for that in an upcoming video. We're gonna have some fun painting. Okay, friends, let's talk power outages for a second. It's strange, I know, but bear with me, because, I mean, if you want to get a good idea of the state of affairs in my province, you can just look at Reddit and it will become instantly clear. Nova Scotia is prone to very frequent power outages, a fact that actually many of you pointed out in the episode many months ago where I talked about fireplaces and my own potential future plans, hopes, and dreams for what to do with my own fireplaces. Many of you pointed out that it can be a good plan not only to have a backup heat source like a functioning fireplace or a wood-burning stove, but also that a generator can be essential, especially in natural disasters. So when Jackery reached out to me offering to sponsor today's video with their solar generator kit, I thought, you know what, that could not only be an incredibly useful tool for me at my own house, but also based on how many of your own comments were clearly, reflecting your own experiences, that it might be useful for some of you in your own circumstances. So this bad boy right here is their 3000 Pro solar generator, and I'm gonna put its stats up on screen for those of you who understand those sorts of metrics. But basically what all those numbers mean is that with its 6 solar panels, it can provide backup power for up to 5 days of either outdoor adventures or, more likely in my case, home emergencies. Now, the reason that Nova Scotia has so many power outages is all the high winds and the inclement weather. Basically, it's all the hurricanes that we face. Living at my house for only a year, I've already had to deal with preparing for one. And this solar generator, it's literally designed for long-term power during disasters. It works well even in the cold. It'll keep your household running while temperatures drop down to -20 Celsius, which is -4 Fahrenheit for my American viewers. Its design prioritizes compactness and efficiency, and it offers a dependable green energy source. In Jackery's own words, quote, "It represents a small but significant step towards sustainability," and the Consumer Electronics Show agreed, awarding it the CES Innovation Award in 2023. So if you also live in an area where power outages are an issue, or if you're looking to live off grid or develop some energy independence, then look into Jackery's Solar Generator 3000 Pro. I have all the links in the description for my North American viewers. If you are Canadian, you can use my code, and if you're in the US, the code won't work, but the whole kit is up to 40% off from now through December 8th. So while I can't exactly say that I am thrilled for the opportunity to test this out, because it means that my house will be missing power, probably due to a hurricane, I will say that I feel much better having it as an essential part of my natural disaster emergency preparedness kit. So we talked before about how there were several signs that this attic was a slightly later addition, that originally the house was 2 stories, and now right here we also have another great view on what was actually our very first clue that this attic was not originally interior but an exterior roof, and that is here you can see the slanted floor of the roof. Like this right here is the ridge line of the original roof of the house. Now it's very, very slight. It's slight enough that I didn't notice it for several weeks, months even, after purchasing the house. Now it doesn't help that we didn't come up here in the attic very often, and that when we did, it was so covered with just, you couldn't walk around. It was solid antiques and garbage. You couldn't see the floor, you couldn't feel the floor, so it was actually really hard to tell that what we were walking on was not level. But then once we started clearing stuff out and working on it, it became apparent, like, we were really worried at first. Is this a problem with our house? Is it sagging? Like, did the foundation sink? Is that why our floor is so crooked? And then as we started finding more and more clues, we realized, no, actually it's just that it used to be a roof, and so it is very, very slightly pitched. And I just think that, like, this shot right here is such a cool angle. You can really see, like, what used to be our original roof line, which I think is just super cool. Anywho, time to pull up some more floorboards. I have some excellent news to share with you because we just sold my car. Very, very exciting. I'm so happy about it. We managed to sell it for $500 and a pot of honey to sweeten the deal. Although, a full confession, the pot of honey was not part of the negotiation process. This was very much an afterthought. So he came out to check out the car and look it over and made us an offer for it. and he's gonna come back and get it and tow it later. But anyway, we stood around and chatted and talked for a little while about the dog and his son, and I don't know. Then he got in the car and was like about to pull off, and then he stuck his head out and yelled, "Do you guys like honey?" We were like, "Of course. Who doesn't like honey?" Yeah, we like honey. And so he gave us this. This is apparently, it's Angus who produced it. Well, Angus's bees. He has about 50 hives or so, very locally, and it's mostly dandelion honey. And our mechanic buys it. Well, I should say our mechanic, the guy who bought our car. Maybe he'll become our mechanic though, honestly. That's a thought. Anyway, he buys it by the case, apparently, and he gave us one. And I'm very excited about it. So, delicious local Nova Scotia dandelion honey. Very excited. Anyway, very happy about that. I don't know if it's, you know, a good price, a fair price. He seemed like a nice guy. He seemed like a fair guy. He's buying it for his son. I don't feel like I got ripped off, and it is like just a concern off my mind. So I am more than happy to have him take it for $500. I'm sure the comment section will be full of whether or not that was a good deal, but for me, I am quite satisfied with it, and that is what matters. Plus, maybe I found myself a mechanic, and I got a pot of honey. I don't know. I'm calling it a win. Phil just ran to Kent a while ago to get a few things, and then he just called me and said, "You should film me arriving home." And then didn't tell me anything more. So I guess we're supposed to go film him coming home, and apparently it should be funny. Let's go find out. Well, that's one way to use the sunroof.
15 bags.
I'm so proud.
It's the 11 from last time.
So this is where we're at right now. Wow, it's so much nicer up here in the daytime. It's been almost a week that I've been up here working basically exclusively at night, and it's a lot more dismal. But we are making progress. It feels like that's all I've been doing is working on my attic, but we have been making a lot of progress. Here's where we're at. We do definitely have an upgrade to our system, and that is these Tupperwares here, which we picked up from the dump. So we've been using these with a great success. It works definitely better than the garbage can that we had been using. So now we take these 6 or 7 Tupperware bins. We can take an entire bale of blown in and split it up all at once into these bins and fluff it up much faster. So if one cannot rent a blown in machine, I highly recommend the Tupperware solution over the garbage can solution. Also, yes, this is the remnants of last night's insulation bale. We kind of abandoned ship rather abruptly because we just ran out of energy. It was quite late. We were working all night long, but yeah, making progress slowly but surely. All of this side has been insulated already. It is done, just missing its floorboards, but that does mean it has become a dumping ground for everything. As well as this section here. So that was also our dumping ground. And I have never seen my attic so empty. I know it looks like absolute chaos. It is a little bit chaotic, but it is also the most empty it's ever been. Only thing left to sort through is this crazy pool table. My goodness. So what is left to be done? Last night we finished all of this all the way up till here. We had to stop because we once again have the chimney conundrum that we had on the other side, where these cavities connect all the way down to the basement. Now obviously it is not a straight shot, but you can see there is a massive drop here. What we're looking at in here is the ceiling, the dropped ceiling of the closets in the rooms downstairs. The closets do not go all the way up to the same height as the rest of the room. So the rest of the rooms have a normal height ceiling. I think it's about 9.5 feet on the second floor, whereas the closets, their ceiling is sitting more at like 7 or 8 feet. So we have this massive cavity in here. Also, you can see all of our power coming upstairs. Again, our fuse box in the basement just comes up over here and then runs through all the floorboards. Cavity, our massive cavity over here, that was just for audio for me. So this needs the same solution as the other side, some plastic vapor barrier to make like a false bottom that we can set the insulation on, because we do not want to put the insulation all the way down there. It's just, there's no point, waste of money. So then that's basically all that remains to be done. We're missing a tiny bit of insulation in here and in the back corner, but yeah, all over there is done. Need a tiny bit in there. All over here is done. We are getting there. We are slowly making progress. So, do you think should we start with the plasticking?
Yeah.
Yes, now that we have daylight.
Sun is in there.
Yeah, we had held off on doing the plastic around the chimney because the light was so bad in here. It was really, really hard to see what we were doing. So now that we finally have some daylight, we're gonna do the plastic, and cross your fingers, we are really thinking that this might be the last day that we're working in the attic. Would be amazing. So some people were worried in the previous videos about us using the plastic here, worried that this was just going to cause the moisture that had been condensing on the windows of the attic to condense right under the attic floor rather than escaping into the attic. And some people mentioned that maybe this was an intentional vent. So to clear this up, no, it is very certainly not intentional. This is not meant to vent air. It is just a very poorly constructed chimney cavity that was then further deteriorated by upgrades and quote-unquote renovations to the house throughout the years. But yes, this is not a good permanent solution. We do need to go down in all of the floors below this, going all the way down to the basement, and properly tackle the situation. Eventually this whole chimney is going to come down. We're going to, seal off the basement so that the moist air stays down there where the dehumidifiers are. But for now, this is the first step. Also, fun discovery about our chimney. I don't know if fun is the right word, but we did discover that we are missing an entire brick. Well, actually 2 entire bricks, because there's that one that we're missing. So you can see it covered in with spray foam. And one at the same height, same place on the other side of the chimney. So don't know if that is all about, but we definitely just covered it with some spray foam for the time being. I generally really do not like spray foam, but since this whole chimney is coming out eventually, it was honestly the best solution here. So we just closed that gap up. We also plugged the missing brick here. There's a tiny bit more spray foam around other bits of the chimney. Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love using it, but it is very temporary and one of the use cases where it made sense. But yes, this whole chimney will also be coming down because, well, just look at it. Mortar? What mortar? Also an old clean out there. Has seen better days. It's looking a bit rough. You can see people tried to patch in the mortar, do some touch-ups, repoint it a little bit, but very hastily, very slapdash. Also, yes, look at all that water damage that hath occurred over the years. Now, that is very old. It is not currently ongoing. But don't you worry, we have lots of other problems with our roof. It is currently leaking. Over there, that's why we've got more towels hung up. Lots of fun stuff. We desperately need a new roof, and we desperately don't have the money right now for it. So, in the meantime, we're using towels. Wow, just look like that. I look like I'm wearing a powdered wig. All right, well, we've run out of blown in. yet again. Recurring story up here. So we're gonna take a pause, go get some more blown in. I'll probably give Canella a little exercise at the same time, and then we'll be back. We made good progress though. It's looking pretty good. We managed to finish this whole section. We got the chimney all filled in, and so now all that's kind of left is this section right here. Fair warning, friends, things are about to get festive around here. Well, they kind of already started with Monday's cheerful winter-themed art project, but next week we're going to be opening all of those boxes and boxes of Christmas decorations that I found up in the attic. Phil and I are going to sort through them and decorate the house with whatever it is I find in there. Plus, immediately after this video, the one you're watching right now, comes out, there's going to be a nice long Vlogmas video over on my second channel. It's the video that I made last year as I traveled all over the US with a touring Christmas production and filled pretty much every spare moment either with visiting all the cool sites or practicing all the cool crafts. It was a lot of fun, and for everybody who always asks about my job, it's a great way to get some good sneak peeks of that. There's a lot of backstage and onstage footage, and it's all happening in some pretty stunning historical theaters. So be sure to go check that out. It should pop up on screen right around in here after this video is over. Okay, just had a quick lunch break. It felt like we didn't really get a whole lot done because getting that plastic in there is just so fiddly. It's such small, cramped little spaces, and we're trying to cram our hands in there and everything. But we are now fed and back up here and really hoping we can work for a while uninterrupted. Get this done today. That's it, we're done. I am so excited. We worked so hard, spent so much time up in this attic, and we are finally finished. Now, it is not beautiful by any means. We left it in a state of chaos. It is still missing a lot of floorboards. We just don't have time to put them all back where they belong. Not yet. That is going to be a project for January when we come back, as it is for us. The next stop is Germany for Christmas.